That morning, my teammates and I had just stepped into Jack's family field when a massive beast suddenly appeared in the middle of the clearing. It plowed through everything in its path, tearing up crops belonging to families all around the area. Without a word, we immediately geared up, locking in our weapons and preparing every piece of equipment. It was a race against time to protect the harvest. Would this mission succeed? Let's find out. Weapons firm in hand, we followed the freshly printed tracks pressed deep into the soil. As we climbed toward the ridge, Jack suddenly paused, scanning the terrain as if he held the whole hillside in his mind. The moment we spotted the target, I signaled him. The scope was dialed in, a perfect window, so we pulled the trigger. Right then, the entire battlefield opened up, and the first strike to defend this land was unleashed. Moments later, more targets poured out. Every sharp crack of gunfire echoed across the slope, holding back wave after wave of wild hogs threatening to charge toward the village below. We quickly divided the hillside and set up ambush points. On the western side, Kevin lay perfectly still, waiting for his shot. Minutes passed in silence, though distant gunfire rumbled from other angles, but he stayed patient. And finally, his target arrived. All pressure exploded in a single shot. The beast never had a chance to launch its rampage. A fitting end for something bold enough to challenge the guardians of this land. A few remaining hogs lurked near the upper ridge. Jack and I moved into position, setting up long-distance shots. Each blockade was executed with precision, taking down the isolated stragglers one by one. This firefight wasn't driven by thrill, it was driven by a shared purpose, saving Jack's endangered harvest. Today's hunt didn't rely on just us. Jack's four-legged partner joined the mission. With keen instincts and coordinated pressure from both man and dog, the giant hogs were flushed out into the open. Conditions were perfect. Every well-placed shot brought the exact results we needed. This area was finally secure, and Jack's village could breathe easy after this intense purge. By this time, we knew exactly where the remaining herd would try to hide. Step by step, we closed in, waiting for the perfect moment. It didn't take long. The shot rang out, swift and final. Death's door opened, leaving the beasts no chance to turn back. Their escape route was severed, and peace returned to the homeland. We made our way back as the afternoon sun began to fade. The air was still, almost frozen. Yet hogs, both lone stragglers and entire groups, kept pushing out from the brush. I locked onto each one the moment it appeared. Target acquired, target down. After a few hours, the remaining herd was fully contained. The mission was complete. Livelihoods had been saved from the storm of destruction brought by the wild beasts. Today's battle was a journey of courage, a fight to protect the hard-earned harvests and the lives built on this land. Every drop of sweat, every shot fired, carried its own sacred weight. In recent years, wild pigs in California have become a serious threat, with their numbers now exceeding 6 million, wreaking havoc on the land and natural forests. These creatures not only invade habitats, but also weaken the entire ecosystem. Now, we can no longer hesitate. Today's hunt will determine whether this land can be restored, whether we can protect a nature that has already endured too much damage. As the first rays of sunlight broke through the horizon, our hunting vehicle rolled into the barren lands of California. Equipped with specialized weapons, modern scopes, and all the necessary gear ready for action, we moved swiftly, surveying the terrain, and quickly selecting a vantage point with a wide view to set up an ambush. After a brief wait, the sound of rustling filled the air as the wild boar herd suddenly appeared. But in that moment, my eyes locked onto the largest, fattest boar. Without hesitation, I aimed, took a steady breath, and squeezed the trigger. After a resounding shot, the massive beast was no longer able to escape our control. But the celebration would have to wait. We quickly followed the trail of their escape. With my binoculars in hand, I spotted the beast trying to hide. Without a second thought, I fired the shot. The target dropped instantly, tumbling down the hillside. Yeah, success! A well-earned outcome for the quick and precise decision I made just moments before. In that moment, I realized that the greatest victory is overcoming oneself. That joy was doubled when, at the same moment, we received word from our teammates that they had also taken down another massive boar. Continuing to observe the herd above, Leon immediately signaled to me the position to block their path. Meanwhile, Leon was ready to close the trap, ensuring they had no escape route. As I reached the spot, I noticed an unusual sound and turned my gaze toward it. Sure enough, one by one, the boars began to appear. The shots rang out in quick succession, and several dropped right where they stood. "They're running down below," I signaled to Leon. Not long after, the deafening sound of gunfire erupted from the foot of the hill, as precise as a flawless report. The hunt was a success. In the heat of the battle, I failed to notice another target nearby. Luckily, Leon spotted it just in time and swiftly handled the situation. The decisive sound of the shot hit the mark, putting an end to the restless beast's life. Not only was it a rescue, but it also stood as a testament to our sharp awareness, reflexes, and reliable teamwork in the face of danger. After the thunderous gunshots, the wild boar herd seemed startled and began to rush off in a panic. From a distance, we could clearly see their frantic figures. We quickly set up strategic checkpoints to intercept their escape. When the target appeared, I didn't hesitate and squeezed the trigger immediately. The bullet flew true, taking down the beast. But I have to admit, their speed was too much. I couldn't react quickly enough to take down the others before they disappeared from sight. In stark contrast to the bustling atmosphere, the western side was thick with tension. After scanning the area, Leon spotted several solitary boars hiding all around the hillside. They had taken over every nook and cranny, leaving no empty space. With utmost caution, Leon moved forward, his eyes never leaving the target, each breath steady and controlled. A precise aim, the squeeze of the trigger. The bullet flew, and the beast dropped instantly. The sound of gunfire echoed from all directions, confirming the inevitable end of the wild boar herd in this place. When it comes to hunting, the skill of a hunter is the first and foremost essential, complemented by the supportive teammates, modern equipment, and a flawless plan. With these, we are able to achieve victory, and victory easily completing our mission for the local villagers and the land of this region. Looking at the ravaged, torn-up fields, once rich and fertile, we knew right away this enemy wasn't your average nuisance. According to local villagers, the one leading the charge was a massive hog, weighing hundreds of kilos and mean as hell. Without hesitation, we set out with one goal in mind: track it down and restore peace to the people. But the question hung heavy in the air. Would our experience and teamwork be enough to face down this monster? Follow our hunting crew as we take on one of our toughest missions yet. At the crack of dawn, after a quick strategy session, we moved into position. Each member took up their post, locking down every vital trail, every path those wild hogs might use to escape. The game was on. No matter how cunning they are, wild boars are creatures of habit, always sticking to the same beaten trails between feeding grounds and cover. As soon as the beast stepped out from behind the brush, I squeezed the trigger. One shot. Boom! Clean, precise, professional. It dropped instantly, never even made it to the tree line on the other side. For a true hunter, victory doesn't come from brute strength. It comes from a mind that knows how to read the game. The sun was beating down hard as we moved up the hillside. We knew the heat would drive the prey into thick brush for cover, and that's when our four-legged partner truly earns his keep. The moment a dark shape broke through the bushes, I squeezed the trigger. A burst of shots tore through the air. Loud, sharp, finally, the beast went down in an instant. Our teamwork isn't just from training, it's forged from hundreds of hunts, moments where life and death were just heartbeats apart. The calm didn't last long. The hounds picked up the scent again, their barks echoing through the hills. Everyone froze, breath held, waiting. Then, out of nowhere, it came charging from the base of the hill, straight at me. No hesitation. I raised my rifle and took aim. Boom! Boom! 2 shots. Clean hit. Dropped it on the spot. Danger was close, too close, but we hunters stand our ground. Every inch of this land is home, and protecting it from savagery isn't just our duty, it's a vow we'll never break. If that shot gave you chills, drop us a like. After hours of lying in wait, we had barely closed our eyes for a quick rest when the signal came through. The boar was roaming near the foot of the hill. Instantly, the team was on the move. The hounds did their job, flushing the beast from its cover. I followed its line of escape, steady and focused, then pulled the trigger. Boom! The shot landed square on target. One clean hit, no wasted motion. The animal dropped instantly. That single decisive shot was the result of thousands of hours of training, razor-sharp focus, and a heart that never flinches. The barrel was still hot when word came in from below. Our team had spotted the alpha boar. After an entire day of tracking, our efforts were finally paying off. I held my ground, ready to intercept. The ambush plan was set. It blocked both ends of its escape route. The whole forest seemed to hold its breath. The moment it stepped out of the brush, David swung his rifle toward it, and boom! A thunderous shot ripped through the silence, shaking the trees. Unstoppable, powerful, the beast's massive frame collapsed to the forest floor. Just when we thought the hunt was over for the day, we spotted another target, lurking dangerously close to the highway. From a distance, the hound's barks grew louder, pushing the dark, furious shadow right toward my position. I held my breath, finger on the trigger, waiting for the perfect moment. Then, boom! Clean, fast, decisive. The beast crashed to the ground, bringing the chase to an abrupt end. Remember this, if you're not a trained hunter, don't ever try to face these animals head on. Out here, the line between hunter and hunted can vanish in an instant. The Land Cruiser, heavy with today's hard-earned haul, rumbled down the trail on the way home. Inside each of us, a quiet voice said, "We're ready to trade sleep, strength, even face danger." Just to see the grateful smiles of the locals, knowing their fields are safe once again. Hit follow and join us as we write the next chapter of this journey tomorrow. From rugged hillsides to dense, shadowy forests, nothing can halt the advance of these fearless horsemen. Plunging into fierce battles, confronting danger to protect crops, land, and livestock from the devastation of wild beasts. The heart-pounding hunts that follow will keep you glued to the screen. Each shot left you stunned. Watch to the end, and don't forget to share your thoughts with us. At dawn, Nick's hunting team set out in their familiar truck to an area reported to be hiding a group of wild boars.
Yes.
Upon arrival, the team swiftly took their pre-planned positions, fully prepared, waiting for their prey to emerge. After a tense wait, Lucky spotted the silhouette of a wild boar on the opposite hillside. The moment its form broke through the tree cover, Lucky fired. A rapid succession of gunshots echoed, finally halting its charge. Leaving the boar no chance to wreak further havoc on the land. On the eastern slope of the hill, After a period of observation, a dark figure weaving through the bushes came into clear view through Nick's binoculars. His rifle was ready, and he precisely tracked the wild boar's movement. With a single shot, the beast collapsed on the spot. Its escape route was completely cut off, restoring peace to the land. At the same moment, another hunting team was tracking the wild beasts in a dense forest. Upon arriving, they quickly took up blocking positions, surrounding the forest with a resolve to prevent any boar from charging down to devastate the crops. Deep in the woods, John spotted a herd of wild boars hiding in the thick underbrush ahead. A gunshot rang out, sending the herd into a panicked stampede. Unexpectedly, a few chose the wrong direction, charging straight into John's line of sight. Without hesitation, a bullet struck the second boar, dropping it instantly. The others managed to vanish into the deep forest, leaving John no further chance to pull the trigger. Outside, the other team members also spotted the herd of frantic beasts charging out from the forest. The marksmen instantly took their positions, ready for the targets to emerge.
Yapıştır. Çok iyi. Tamam.
As soon as the boars appeared, a volley of gunshots rang out. But they moved too fast, leaving only one carcass behind in the underbrush. The radio crackled, relaying the escape routes of the wild boars to the remaining hunters. On the eastern edge of the forest, a boar charged straight through the blockade position of one of the team's marksmen. Its body fully exposed in a clearing, a sharp gunshot rang out decisively. The boar collapsed instantly, with no chance to flee. Almost simultaneously, other gunshots echoed through the forest, signaling that the remaining boars had been dealt with. The hunt concluded successfully, restoring peace to the land. In the stillness of the late night, the ring of the phone broke the silence. My grandmother's anxious voice came through. The wild boars are back, tearing up the crops and breaking the fences. Those words hit me like a jolt of electricity, and I knew I couldn't hesitate. I immediately called my team to prepare for the wild beasts that were causing havoc. This hunt wasn't just a battle against the boars, it was about protecting family and homeland. Join us now on this relentless mission. We gathered at the forest's edge. Armed with specialized gear and modern technology, we entered the thick woods. The faint traces left by the boars guided us to our first target. When the moment was right, a sharp blast echoed through the air, breaking the stillness. Perfect. The beast had no way to escape. We pressed deeper, and more figures appeared. Another round of shots rang out, ending the chaos of the forest. Our opening move for the day was marked with precision. After the gunshots, the wild boars seemed to panic, scattering in every direction. Without hesitation, the team quickly divided into strategic positions and surrounded them. Each move, every decision, was executed with military precision, like a well-oiled machine. Before long, we had completely contained the wild beasts, halting their advance perfectly. As the sun rose, the conditions for the hunt improved dramatically. The morning fog lifted, and everything became clearer. 15 minutes passed in complete silence. Suddenly, a massive figure emerged within the scope. My finger tightened on the trigger, and the shot rang out. The silence shattered. Each step of the beast in its desperate flight was met with the relentless pursuit of my aim. Despite its attempts to flee, the beast couldn't escape the cold line of fire. It finally collapsed not far off. Mission accomplished. Thinking there might be more boars hiding deep in the forest, we decided to press on. The team spread out, quietly searching, each step calculated and deliberate. Then, suddenly, the target appeared right in the crosshairs. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. The shots hit their mark with surgical precision, each blast snuffing out the immediate threat. After our recent success, we didn't stop, but pushed forward. Carefully scanning the area, I recognized this spot as one likely to hold more boars. We took up a concealed position. Sure enough, the prey appeared. My hand tightened on the trigger, and the bullet flew. Cold, calculated, and accurate. Just when I thought the hunt was winding down, new targets emerged, testing both my patience and marksmanship. The shots rang out like a warning. Don't trespass in this domain. More figures flitted between the thick shadows of the trees. Not letting them slip away easily, I got into position, preparing for the next round of action. At that moment, everything seemed to narrow down to the sound of raw tension. After hours of intense effort, the spoils of the hunt exceeded expectations. The sweat, the unrelenting drive. Everything had paid off. My father invested the whole season planting sugarcane on a patch of land at the forest's edge. But after just a few nights, a herd of wild boars stormed in, destroying our hard work and threatening the family's livelihood. Fueled by determination, we couldn't just sit back and watch. At dawn the next day, we set out. Would this quest for justice succeed? Join us and find out. The plan was drawn up the night before. We'd form a wide perimeter, using hunting dogs to drive the boars toward our ambush points. We were geared up with terrain grip boots, walkie-talkies to stay connected, and rifles carefully loaded. Nearby, the pickup truck and our pack of hunting dogs were eager to jump into action. Before sunrise, the forest stirred awake with the sharp barks of our dogs. Every step was cautious, every sound analyzed. This hunt wasn't just about pulling the trigger. It was an art of patience and instinct. Then, the first prize appeared. A wild boar, startled out of hiding, charged into the open space right in front of us. I leveled my rifle, heart steady, breath held tight, and squeezed the trigger. Boom! The boar spun and crashed onto the dry grass. We moved up to the hilltop, a vantage point to watch all movement and predict the boar's path. As we arrived, the dog's urgent barking told us they'd driven another into the trap. Just as I raised my rifle, a teammate was faster. His shot dropped the boar instantly. Every successful shot, no matter who fired it, was a victory for the whole team. Emboldened, we spread out across surrounding hills, tightening the tactical circle. Experience spoke now, reading the wind, tracking faint signs, waiting patiently. My hunter's gut whispered, "Prey nearby, very close." The wild boar burst out. Unlucky for it, my bullet was waiting, pinning it down the moment it showed itself. By noon, the sun beat down fiercely. I moved to a gentle slope with open views to spot movement easily. Minutes later, a teammate radioed. A herd was being pushed downhill. My goal wasn't to shoot as many as possible, but to break their formation. The leader was always the prime target. I took careful aim and squeezed the trigger. The leader went down hard, sending the rest into chaotic flight. Right after, I radioed the escape routes of the others. Rapid gunfire from Kevin's position knocked down a few more. As evening fell, fatigue crept in, but focus never wavered. As we moved down the hill to load our haul, sudden frantic barks echoed nearby. Still some stragglers hiding? The wild boar burst from thick brush. My shot rang out, dropping it clean with a precise finishing bullet. That shot rippled through the quiet forest like a stone skipping across a lake, stirring the hidden prey. As another boar appeared, I fired the day's last bullet, driving it down and sealing an intense day of hunting.